What's up guys, today we're going to take a look at this phone, but I first want to make a quick little update. If you're not subscribed, that's totally fine, go subscribe, but you can skip through this part of the video, but I just wanted to make a short little update. Sorry that I've been gone so much, because this is my first video in 2024, happy 2024 everyone, by the way, hope you had a good year switch. But I was unable to make a video on 31st this year, last year basically. I'm sorry about that. Back in 2022, I actually did make a video on December 31st where I replaced the touchscreen of my Lumia 530, I think it was, yeah. It was super busy. I've been really busy. Christmas break was really busy. I had lots of stuff in the first week and quite a few things in the second week too. So I just I just haven't been able to make a video, honestly. Same with what's been going on, my mental health and all the other stuff, and just life going on with school and stuff, because that has also started for 2 weeks now, because well, Christmas break is over. Now I can finally kind of snag a bit of time to make a video, and this phone will be gone tomorrow. This is not mine. This phone will be gone tomorrow, so yeah, I kind of just have to make a video about this phone, because otherwise it will never be featured on this channel, and I do want it to be featured on this channel. So yeah, sorry about the huge delay. Video about the laptops is coming sometime. I'm just waiting for my AliExpress package to come in for my Samsung laptop, the R580 from the previous video. Go watch my free laptops video where I got free laptops, then you'll probably understand it better if you don't understand this. I did get a new tripod. It's a pretty silly little small one. I'm actually going to switch to a JVC camcorder to film my videos, but I'm not completely sure if I will do that, because I still have to figure things out, okay? So let's get to the main thing, this phone. This is a Samsung Galaxy A03 Core, and I used this phone for a week now, and this was given to me by a guy in school who wanted a custom ROM on it. He also fixed my A40, but that's for another video. So yeah, what's the A03 Core like? Well, it's pretty First of all, the build quality. This did not come with a case. This is the glossy black version. I haven't seen this particular version of this phone. Most of them are either like bronze, or most of them are matte, like matte black with like a little funny thing on the camera to like have design, you know. This is completely glossy. This only has that little that little design to it where it like shines in the light, but that's it. This is a really bland and really boring edition of this phone. Build quality wise, I'll say surely it feels like shit. It feels like a toy, but it also actually kind of feels good. So yeah, this plastic is not nice to hold. Please get a case. Well, it's not even worth it getting a case for a phone this crap, but get a case if you do happen to like this phone. And you know, it feels really bad. This feels pretty low quality, but you do get that Samsung feel to it. And what I mean with that Samsung feel is it feels really sturdy. It doesn't really, well, this one creaks just a little bit right here. It creaks very slightly, but on the sides it feels really sturdy, and just, yeah, it just feels okay quality. It's just that the plastic that they use is really crap. It doesn't feel good in the hand. I wouldn't want to hold this all the time. It's kind of slippery too. It looks kind of outdated, but it also kind of looks modern day-ish. I don't know. That will mostly be when we turn this thing on, but I'll do that in a sec. So yeah, it's okay build quality wise, but it's really not that nice. Not like my Galaxy M53, which is my daily driver, which I have right here. This phone has a mid-frame and this phone has a mid-frame and a, you know, frosted looking plastic bag. Don't mind the stickers, please. This is my main phone. I always do funny things with my main devices. So yeah, let's turn this thing on, because this thing is actually custom ROMs. Like I said, I did custom ROM this because that's what the guy wanted me to do with it. If you have this phone, please, for the love of God, custom ROM it. It makes up quite a bit. It makes the user experience a lot better, because Android Go on this was really boring. Like, I don't know what Samsung did with this device, or just, you know, Android Go devices in general, like probably the A02 Core also has, that also has Android Go 2 as well. It's really bogged down. You're missing out on so much if you're running Android Go. And I was running the latest version, by the way. I was running Android Go 13. This was it running Android 13. This $100 piece of crap somehow got from Android 11 to Android 13. I don't understand that. But I looked on GSM Arena about this phone, and so many people were complaining about freezes, restarts, and all sorts of issues on Android 12. I can kind of see why Samsung also kind of just had to do it, because they probably had so many complaints and just so many bug reports in that members app, the Samsung members app, that, yeah, but they could have maybe fixed that with like a patch. So yeah, this thing takes really long to boot. This thing is running Aero OS 13. Well, Android 13 Aero OS, and it still runs pretty crap, but it's actually kind of tolerable, I guess. So let's get into the specs. So this thing has a 6.5 inch 720p what was it, like, not IPS, it was that really stupid fancy Samsung name for LCDs. It was, wait, let me have a look. So it has a PLS LCD, 8 megapixel 1080p camera, which we'll get to in a second. 8 megapixel camera that can do 1080p at 30 fps. Also, look at the pictures. I cannot find my color in here. Look, you see that little design that they have with the camera going on there? That's not mine. That's a matte color. I don't have this one. Look, you can see that little design by the camera. Mine does not have that. This is a really weird version of the A03 Core, because this has no like matte back. Look at that, it's way different. So yeah, I took a couple pictures with this phone. Let's talk about the camera. So this has an 8 megapixel camera and a 5 megapixel selfie camera. I'm sorry I did not test the selfie camera, but that's for personal reasons. I don't take selfies. I never do. I'm really not into selfies. I really don't care about selfie camera. So yeah, wait, let me first show you that this thing is indeed rooted and custom ROMmed. Look, Android 13, Aero OS 13.1 vanilla unofficial. You go into FreeC CPU Manager. This thing cannot overclock, sadly, which is really annoying, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I took a couple pictures with this thing. I'll let you, yeah, okay. So you cannot see this on camera, but these pictures are pretty I must say. This would not have been an upgrade over your existing phone, honestly. Even if you had like a J5 2016 or like an A5. Even an A5 2016 can beat this. I'm honestly really sure, because those have really good cameras. They're like 13 or 16 megapixel. Like, look, I took this completely standing still, and it looks pretty grainy. I really took this completely still. I wasn't moving at all. And it doesn't look too good. It looks pretty Even for an 8 megapixel camera, it's kind of what you would expect, honestly. For an 8 megapixel camera, it is passable. But for the average consumer that really doesn't know the specs of their phone, yeah, it kind of sucks. I will actually take a selfie just now and have a personal look at it to see, just for those people that want to see. What the fuck? Why does it say cannot connect the camera? By the way, I'm going to take a selfie now, but I did not test the video quality of this phone either, but I can already imagine what it looks like. It probably isn't too great. So yeah, I'm not going to splice in a video of this phone. I'm sorry about that. This is a quick review. I don't really have that much time for that. And if you want to see that, then don't ask me, because this phone is going away tomorrow to its original owner again. I actually don't know how to turn around the freaking camera. Oh, there you go. Okay. So I'm taking a look at the selfie that I took, and it looks really, really soft. Like, damn, everything just blends into each other, and the lighting is pretty bad. And you can, even in this phone, even with this crappy phone, you can see how dirty my glasses are, though. That's pretty funny here. Oh, fuck, I'll show you. It doesn't look good, right? It looks really soft. It looks really grainy. I would not like to take selfies with this. If I was a selfie fanatic, I would not like to take selfies with this thing. It's not good. So yeah, the cameras on this thing are pretty, they're passable, but I wouldn't say that they're nice either, to be honest. They're passable for an 8 megapixel and a 5 megapixel camera, but I honestly wouldn't say it's wrong if a person bought this for $100 and say that the cameras are too bad for the price. I would not say that they're not right about that. You can get better phones for $100, man. Everyone knows that. This is the most bottom tier Samsung that they made for the A03 series, actually, which is funny, because my phone is a 03 series phone as well, because mine is an M53, so it still has a 3 in it. But though this thing absolutely smacks it to death, the M53 is so much better in every single way. So let's talk display. Honestly, the display on this is not the worst I've ever seen. Really not. It's passable. It reminds me of my old Motorola that I had before my M53, which was the one macro, which also had a 720p 60Hz display, except it was IPS and it looked a little bit better than this. But in this specific iteration of this custom ROM, in this version, you can go to... Where's the display? Am I blind today? I think I'm blind today. You can change the colors. Natural is what it's normally on, but I've set it to boosted, and ever since that, it looks okay. It looks better than Android 13. It doesn't make that huge of a difference, but it makes enough of a difference to really kind of just enhance the experience. Why is Wi-Fi not on? So yeah. Honestly, you're missing out on a lot less with Android 13 on here. It is quite a bit better now. All my YouTube notifications are coming in. The display is not the worst, and the display is not the best either. I think it's acceptable for the price. You don't get any fancy 90 hertz or something like that, but honestly, I think it's fine for the price. It looks okay. It looks usable. I used this for YouTube for a few days, and I watched YouTube on this for a few days, and it's not the worst. It's not the best, but it is acceptable for the price. In fact, I think it's kind of generous for the price that I didn't put a crappy TFT panel on there, because that looks awful. If this would have had a TFT panel, it would have looked pretty awful. But I don't know what PLS is. Let me know down in the comments if you do. I don't know if it's more towards IPS or if it's more towards TFT. I'd love to know. So if you do know, let me know down in the comments. I'd appreciate that. So yeah, that's the display. It's pretty okay. It's pretty good for the price, I guess. So now let's get to the battery life. The battery life on this device is insane. It really is insane. If you want a backup phone that's like super freaking cheap and has battery life for days, this is one of its strong suits. Battery life is crazy. Like, it lasts me, like, the last time I used this, it lasted me 4.5 days. I've only had to charge it once, and I even did a battery health test, and it's still at 97%. So most of the capacity is still there. This thing has barely been used. It lasts longer than my main phone, which is really, really embarrassing. Also, talking about battery life, talking about charging for a second. You cannot pause charging at 85% on Android 13 Go. This thing is so stripped down, you cannot even let it stop at 85%. That's a feature I use on my main phone all the time. You have this feature on Samsung phones that let them stop charging at 85% so that the battery health stays better over the years. I always use that on my main phone. You cannot do that on this. And that's because, to be really honest, that Android Go version that was on this, it does not have One UI. There's no One UI on this. This is a Samsung phone with no One UI. It's really awful. It's kind of like a fake phone. It kind of mimics it. Like, it does have Smart Manager for like maintaining your phone and stuff. It does have the Samsung tones on it, but it's more a Google phone than a Samsung phone out of the box. It uses the Google Gallery. It uses, like, Samsung Store isn't even there. Not that I like the Samsung Store, I freaking hate it, but it's part of making a Samsung, in my opinion. This is not a Samsung device. This is more like a Google device made by Samsung, and really, really crap. So yeah, but going back to the battery life is really, really good on this device. It lasts multiple days. You don't even need. You can charge this to like 80% and still get 3 days out of it. It's really crazy. And it's even better on this custom ROM, by the way. When I used this stock, the battery life was really good as well. You could definitely get 2 to 2.5 days, maybe even 3 out of that. But with this custom ROM, the battery life is even better. Like, it's crazy how long this thing lasts. I used this on the bus for music, and it only drains 3% in the last, like, what, 6-7 hours of being on standby. It's absolutely crazy. And that was with an hour of music. I played like an hour and a half of music on this in total. So yeah, with VLC. So yeah, the battery life is really good. The cameras are pretty The display is good. What else? Well, the speaker on this is pretty good too. I'd say it's not too crap. You cannot really hear the cheapness of the phone in the speaker. But what I don't like is that it has a micro USB port. This is a device from late 2021 and it still has a micro USB port. And so did the A03 normal stock, the non-core A03. The only A03 device that does have Type-C and a fingerprint scanner is the A03s. And I don't understand that, because why? Why put a micro USB port on a device from late 2021? That's absolutely insane to me. It charges really slow. It does not charge past 1.5 amps, so that's like what, 8 watts, 7.5 watts, I'd say. About 7.5 watts, and that's with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, my guys. That's going to take a long time to charge. It took like 3.5 hours or something to charge from 1% to 100 when I did the battery health test. I really did drain it down to 1% and charge it back up to 100. It took like 3.5 hours. So yeah, you can use a Samsung fast charger with this, although it will not use its Samsung fast charge feature. This will not charge at 15 watts. It's really slow. But yeah, that's basically it. The headphone jack in this is awful. Honestly, they should have kept the headphone jack away. And I know some people are going to scream about that in the comments, but I use this thing for music for a day now, and it's horrible. It's absolutely atrocious. If you're going to listen with music with this thing, use Bluetooth headphones. I'm 100% sure it's the headphone jack and not the custom ROM that I've put in here. So basically, there's no bass. If you use normal like wired headphones or earphones with this thing, they're going to sound tinny as heck. I had to put a custom equalizer in VLC and it still sounded awful because it sounded really muffled, but I did get my bass back. There's no punch to the kicks, you know? No, there's not. The headphone jack is awful. I don't understand why they put an awful headphone jack in here if they can also just keep it out, because if they keep it out, people are going to buy dongles and the DACs inside headphone dongles, like, you know, Type-C to like headphone jack that has a little DAC in it, digital to analog converter. Even that is going to be so much better than the digital to analog converter that's in here. It's absolutely horrible. Please don't use this thing for music unless you use Bluetooth headphones. The battery lasts ages anyways. It's awful. Please don't even try it. If you have this phone and you're watching this, please don't even try the headphone jack. You don't deserve to suffer like I did in the morning with this phone. So yeah. Last but not least, the positives about this phone. I do think that there's a market for this phone. If you have someone who's really addicted to their phone and you really want to get them off of their phone, but they refuse to get a dumb phone or something like that, get them this, because this is so atrocious. They'll just not want to use it anymore after a while. I mean, the main weakness of this device is the performance, which I'll get to now, basically. This has a Unisoc CPU in it from 2018 that was already budget back then. I mean, yeah, it is a octa-core, but it has 4 1.6 gigahertz Cortex A53 cores and 4 1.2 gigahertz A53 cores as well. So that's 8 cores in total. Yes, I did that on top of my head. Haha, clap for me. Yeah, it's not good. It's really slow. Look, if I load up YouTube here, I'm not going to load up Discord, of course. If I'm going to load up YouTube here, I mean, that's not too awful, but to put into perspective how slow this is slightly slower than my Samsung Galaxy A03 2016, which I have right here. this phone that I've had for almost 4 years. This has a quad-core 1.5 gigahertz Cortex A53 SoC. And it's faster. It feels less sluggish than this thing. Look, even animations and stuff are just pretty laggy. You're not going to really see it on camera because this video was filmed in, well, is filmed currently in 30 FPS to save space on my phone. But yeah, one positive thing though, I tested a PS1 game, and how bad this GPU might be, it does run Crash Bandicoot Warped. In fact, it ran it pretty well too. I was pretty satisfied with that. You can play PS1 games on this phone. If you want to use this phone for some basic emulation, like before PS2 era, it's going to do it. Please don't do PS2 on this, because even my A40 struggled with that really drastically. So yeah, you can use this device like that, but I recommend this device if you have someone that's really addicted to their phone, needs to get off their phone, because this has a really stripped down user interface, more stripped down than you think out of the box. If you don't custom ROM this thing, which I recommend you to do, this has a very basic version of Android on it. It's Android Go. It's not a true Samsung because it doesn't run One UI. I don't really see why they even called this a Samsung, honestly, if it doesn't have One UI. I mean, it's good that it didn't come with the crap like this store. It doesn't use the Samsung Gallery, it uses the Google Gallery, it uses a stock camera. Well, it uses a Samsung camera app, but it's like, I think it's just a stock camera app that is made to look like the real Samsung camera app, but it looks really bad still. It has stock Google apps on it, so yeah. It does have one Samsung app on it. I forgot the name of it, but you could not remove it. It was Samsung bloatware. There's only one bloatware app on this phone by standard. You get battery for days. You get a pretty shitty build with this phone. Pretty shitty build quality. You get cameras, and you get a decent display. So yeah, again, this is also a recommended phone, in my opinion, for a kid that's actually too young to get a phone, like a 9-year-old or something, or a 10-year-old. Give them this, because this is pretty awful. It's cheap. I mean, it's not cheap enough. They still sell this thing for $100, which is absolutely crazy to me, because it's absolutely not worth that price. But yeah, I'd recommend this for someone who's looking for a phone for their kid, and they're actually too young for a phone, but they want a phone so badly. Give them this. This is not a very attractive phone, both in terms of user interface. Like, look at this. This has so much more. This has like colored themed icons and just all sorts of fancy stuff, and control panel. Whoa, so many colored stuff. You can do colored icons on Android 13 on this thing, surprisingly enough. But yeah, this is not a very attractive phone, both in terms of like in real life looks and just user interface wise. So this is a really boring phone. I don't think people are going to get addicted to this phone. It's just too depressing to use. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, what do you think of the A03 Core? I think it's okay, but it's held back too much by its outdated SoC, and it's only 2 gigabytes of RAM. 32 gigabytes of storage is okay. If you're beginning with this phone, then it's okay. But if you're switching from another phone to this thing, 32 gigs is probably not going to be enough. That's, again, I don't recommend this phone to anyone who wants a new phone. I just recommend it to people who are getting this phone as a first phone. So yeah, that's the A03 Core review. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this phone and what your experience is with this phone if you have it. Have a good day, and see y'all later.